And joining us now here on TVP World is Róbert Gönczi, analyst of the Migration Research Institute in Budapest. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good morning, happy to be here.
So, Poland is taking over the presidency of the Visegrad Group, and the slogan, which is supposed to define the priorities, is back to basics. How do you think this is going to work, and is it possible to achieve this objective? Even though you actually have two governments going one way when it comes to European affairs in particular, while two other governments, Hungary and Slovakia to be precise, seem to be going the other way.
Exactly because of this difference, we need to find our common ground again as the Visegrad Group, and that's the reason why we need to go back to the basics and find those common values that these four countries can share and their cooperation can rely on. And if we look at the priorities of this plan that the Polish government has shared, we see that it's coming with very basic principles: citizen safety, connectivity, unleashing potential. These are all factors that already have been around at the Visegrad Group for more than 20 years. And we need to highlight them again, because what we have seen in the past 2 years is that the Visegrad was not working as it should have been, and it's not only bad for the Visegrad Group itself, but also for the Central European community in its cooperation.
And I wonder, because of course we are discussing the fact that this is also a collaborative effort also in terms of economic and energy policy. So of course energy security is a top priority, and with Poland advocating now for greater independence from Russian energy supply. So this includes of course investments in alternative energy sources and enhancing the infrastructure for energy distribution across the V4 countries. That's the plan, at least. But now, how do you think that Poland plans to go about this, knowing that Hungary, for instance, takes the gas from Turkey and Turkey takes the gas from Russia? So how do you think that this going back to basics will really look like economics-wise?
First, I would like to highlight that Turkey is not only buying its gas from Russia, it also buys from Azerbaijan, and Hungary expanded its cooperation with Azerbaijan exactly for that reason, especially through the pipelines to Turkmenistan. So we see discussion regarding that. But the most important thing that we should mention regarding this cooperation is that we should focus on the security concerns, because that's where we see the most division. And by Viktor Orban's recent visits to Kiev, we might see a shift regarding that, especially coming up as the European Council presidency. And it also gives a rare opportunity that Poland can lead V4 and Hungary can lead the European Council, and maybe Warsaw and Budapest can find their good footing again, and maybe they can find a solution why the past 2 years was not the best for the history books between the two countries, and maybe move forward and find how their different perceptions regarding the war in Ukraine can help find the footing that would result a stronger Central Europe once again.
Do you think it is likely, though? Because it appears that the differences between Poland and Hungary, well, they have never been historical. They have never been about any sort of rivalry. They have been about day-to-day politics, and the Orban government, which has a certain stance towards Ukraine and has been fairly skeptical about helping Kiev. On the other hand, the new liberal government in Poland, much more Euro-enthusiastic than the previous one. But also this actually places it at odds with Viktor Orban. So do you think that there is a risk that the group, if not outright fracturing, might actually become less relevant on issues such as security, European policy, and instead, of course, become or remain an important forum of cooperation, but limited mostly to issues of cooperation between societies, economy, and so on?
What we see most importantly is that European integration is now one of the priorities of the Visegrad Group, and there is no difference. If we look at the stats, we can see that still the Central European countries, sometimes except for Slovakia, are the strongest regarding European integration. Hungary is among the top 3 most supportive towards further European integration, as we can see in Schengen border policies, as we can see regarding the enlargement of the European Union. So there is a strong focus from the Hungarian government towards the European Union integration, even though there are fractions sometimes between the alliances and Budapest. But we can see now that maybe this misunderstanding between these states, and most importantly the Visegrad states, because that's what we should focus at this moment, is something that could be overcome. And after all, there is no disagreement regarding the support towards Ukraine, only maybe the how to support Ukraine. But what we can see now, maybe a positive step forwards to find common ground between the Visegrad groups and start reconnecting this region once again, because we have seen that during different times of crisis, like the debt crisis or the migration crisis, when these four countries could work well together, it was better for the entirement of the region, and it also led to further stronger alliances, also such as the Three Seas Initiative. Or
no, of course, but if I may, just very quickly, no difference when it comes to Ukraine. I mean, the Orban government has been known for blocking or delaying initiatives intended to bolster Kiev militarily, for example. And also the European integration issue, I mean, the dispute concerning the rule of law, for example, is still ongoing. 6 billion euros still being held up because of that.
Of course, I meant regarding that there is no difference in the support towards Ukraine, is that both Budapest, Warsaw, Bratislava and Praga agrees on that Ukraine was the one under attack, and Ukraine need to be supported in its efforts to protect itself. And how highlighted earlier that there is difference in the how to support Ukraine. There we can see some differences, like from direct support towards indirect support from north to south in the Visegrad Group. Also regarding the rule of law issue, if we look across Central Europe, we see that all countries face rule of law issues all the time through the European Union, but that's just the identification of the European cooperation, that we need to find solutions to indifferences and differences between member states all the time. So that's something that I would not consider as a friction between the states.
Róbert Gönczi was our guest today. Thank you so much for providing your expert insights.
Thank you for inviting.
And now we're moving on towards the weather, and then we'll be taking a glance at the latest headlines. So please do stay with us.